En noticias de última hora, el presidente Trump le da un ultimátum a Hamas: o se rinde y acepta el acuerdo de paz o estallará todo el infierno. Estamos en vivo desde Washington, D.C. con un viernes marcado por un tercer día de cierre de gobierno.
I bought the iPhone 17 Pro Max during the most busy, frustrating, yet exciting time of my life. And over the past month, there's been ups, there's been downs, and everything in between. But I must admit that throughout the entire journey, not once did I question if this was the phone to do it with. Welcome to my 1 month review with the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Now, sometimes I will admit that I hate the fact that I love this phone so much, because I will admit that I'm human, and I will admit that the hate comments do get to me. Apple haters telling me that if I enjoy this phone too much, then I'm getting paid by Apple, which is insanely ridiculous because I showed you guys that I bought this phone with my own money, and that goes against everything that I stand for as a creator. And I must admit that the iPhone 17 Pro Max is a phone that I've enjoyed to the fullest with no major problems. And I'm gonna fully accept all the hate that comes to me as a true lover of tech, because at the end of the day, I can't speak on behalf of someone on Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok. I can only go from my true experience. I take really good care of my phone. I rock the caseless, and I didn't experience any issues with the hardware. And as you can see here, my iPhone 17 Pro Max is as clean as a whistle. But other than that, this phone has been nothing but great for me. The display has been able to handle the sun in Mexico like a breeze. I went without charging my phone every single night for a week and was still able to get a full charge while getting ready to start my day. The reception was great even outside of my country. And overall, this might be the most complete iPhone that I've experienced since the iPhone 13 Pro Max. So in this video, I will be letting you guys know why I enjoy the iPhone 17 Pro Max a lot and who should buy this phone, because $1,200 is a lot to ask for an iPhone. And also, let's not forget that the iPhone 17 is having an MVP year, and I also have a video on that coming very soon. Now, after using the iPhone 17 Pro Max every single day, I can honestly say that the build has impressed me more over time than it did on day one, and that's pretty rare for me. The frame has this soft matte aluminum that feels noticeably similar to the slick titanium that we had last year. It's smoother and lighter, but still has this dense solid core to it, almost like it's carved out of a single piece. Overall, it feels very nice to touch, all while still feeling like a premium phone. It hasn't developed any hairline scratches, which honestly surprised me because I've been carrying this thing around for weeks on end without a case. Not a single scuff on the frame, and that matte texture has done a fantastic job at keeping the fingerprints off. It still looks clean and new every single time I pick it up. The ceramic shield too on the front has also held up very well, and I'm usually very paranoid about micro scratches from wiping it down or setting it screen down on my desk, but it's still flawless. No dents, no swirls, and I've pretty much been careless with it, so that says a lot. The bezels are also noticeably slimmer, and the more that I've lived with it, the more I realize how much that changes the vibe of this phone. It doesn't feel bulky even though it is big, and it just looks refined. Like the entire front is still screen with barely any border, reminding you that it's still hardware. The button and port layout has stayed practical too. The volume buttons still have that nice solid click, and despite its size, it's been surprisingly pocket friendly. So whether I'm wearing my gym shorts, jeans, or pajamas, it's not bad, especially if you're coming from an iPhone that's a similar size. And after 2 weeks of grabbing it dozens of times a day, it never felt clunky or fatiguing. Now, as far as the IP68 rating, I haven't gone swimming with it or anything, but it's nice knowing that I don't have to panic if I'm shooting in the rain or caught in bad weather. So overall, I'd say that despite all the negativity that's been going on, my iPhone 17 Pro Max still looks pristine. It still feels solid, and that sense of premium hasn't faded, which for me is the biggest test of any phone after the hype wears off. Now, after a month, the display might honestly be the thing that I've come to appreciate the most about this phone, not because it's flashy, but because it just works every time I need it to. It has a big 6.9-inch panel. It still feels massive, but not in an overwhelming way. The slimmer bezels really help here. It doesn't look like a giant slab anymore. It looks clean and modern, like the screen is stretching edge to edge without the clunky borders that we used to get. I've also used it in just about every setting, editing thumbnails, watching YouTube while cooking, scrolling through Reddit, and it's handled all of it perfectly. And also the new 3000 nit peak brightness screen and anti-reflective coating make a bigger difference than I expected. I could actually see everything very clearly while standing outside in direct light, and that's something that a bunch of my other premium phones tend to struggle with. Colors have also been consistent and accurate too. Nothing feels oversaturated or cartoonish, but they still have that subtle pop that makes photos and videos look polished. I've gone back through older footage and images on it, and it genuinely makes them look like they were shot on newer gear. The responsiveness has also been solid. The 120Hz refresh rate doesn't just make it look smooth, but it also feels really good. Whether I'm scrubbing through 4K footage or just scrolling through my social media, there's no hesitation, no drop frames, and no weird touch lag. And when compared to the iPhone 16 Pro Max and even the iPhone 15 Pro Max, it's not that the display is doing anything mind-blowingly new. It's just about doing everything really well while also still feeling like a slight improvement. Now, moving on to performance, one thing that I can say is that it hasn't flinched once. The A19 Pro chip has been running everything that I've thrown at it like it's nothing, and it's the first time in a while that I felt like an iPhone actually has headroom again. I've had days where I'm filming 4K clips, bouncing between apps, editing them, posting to social media, replying to emails, and then jumping straight into gaming, and it never stutters. There's no pause and nothing that breaks your flow. And the wild part to me is just how calm it stays while doing all of that. I was wondering how the new vapor chamber cooling system would do this year, and honestly, it's been showing its work. I played Genshin Impact on high settings for over an hour one night, then ran a few matches of Fortnite, Call of Duty Mobile, and even a quick session of Asphalt 9, and the phone stayed surprisingly cool the entire time. It got warm, sure, but never to the point where it feels like you're holding a mini space heater like some phones do after a long session. Even when exporting longer video projects, it keeps the same quiet confidence. Normally on phones, you can feel them heating up just from the weight of the tasks, but here it stays stable, almost like it's not even breaking a sweat. And honestly, that's what stands out the most to me about its performance. It's not just about being fast, it's about staying fast without any usual side effects. It hasn't really given me a single moment where I had to stop and wait for it to catch up. It's been seamless, consistent, and genuinely one of the smoothest weeks that I've ever had on a new phone. Now, if there's one thing that's genuinely caught me off guard over these past couple of weeks, it is the battery life. Because this is easily the best battery experience that I've had on an iPhone since the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Now, one of my heaviest days was a full content day. I shot B-roll in 4K, did a few test vlog clips, edited footage on device, posted on Instagram and YouTube, and played a few matches of Call of Duty and Fortnite, and I still ended the night with around 25% battery left, which was very impressive. On average, I've been getting about 8 to 9 hours of on-screen time consistently, which is pretty wild considering how bright this display gets and how much I've been truly pushing it. Even on days where I'm not actively filming, I'm still bouncing between photo editing, long social media sessions, and I usually land somewhere in between the same 30 to 40% range by the end of the night. Charging also hasn't been stressful either. I have the 40-watt USB-C fast charging, and while in Mexico, I've had nights where I forgot to plug it in before bed, tossed it on the charger while I hopped in the shower, and came back to it at 100% in about 30 to 45 minutes. Even MagSafe at 25 watts has been quick enough for top-ups during editing breaks, and this is especially reassuring because my upcoming video is going to be shot entirely on this phone, and I needed to know if the battery could keep up with full production days, and that confidence makes a bigger difference than you think because my phone is my camera, editor, and upload machine all at once. And after a few weeks using the iPhone 17 Pro Max's camera system every single day, it's been way better than I expected. The 48 megapixel main sensor has become my go-to. It gives these clean, sharp shots with really consistent color, and it handles contrast well even with mixed lighting. As you guys can see, most of my shots are coming from my trip to Mexico, and the colors were just amazing. In times where the lens usually struggles the most, this one stayed crisp from edge to edge, and it just held up really well. On the video side, this thing has been a powerhouse. Support is still unmatched on any other phone, and the Apple Log 2 has been a game changer. It gives me way more flexibility with color grading, and I've been able to just shoot, airdrop to my MacBook, and immediately drop the footage into Final Cut with no weird compatibility issues or conversions. It's kind of like shooting on a real camera, and at this point, the iPhone is just as good as many cheaper DSLRs. But alright, looking back on the past few weeks, I can confidently say that I was wrong about this phone. I went into this expecting to be either bored with it after a few days or just end up calling it another year of Apple hyping up minor changes, and it turned out to be neither. Because this isn't just another safe iPhone, it's one of the most complete ones that they've made in years. The display has been just as impressive, the performance has been flawless, and as far as who this phone is for, honestly, if you're a creator, a power user, or someone coming from an older iPhone looking for a real jump, this is the phone to get. It's powerful, dependable, and finally feels like a proper step forward. But I would say that if you're a casual user or you're already happy on Android, this one might be overkill. The regular iPhone 17 is so good this year that unless you need the bigger screen or that extra camera reach, it gives you almost the exact same experience for a lot less money. Either way, after a couple of weeks of living with it, I can say this: the iPhone 17 Pro Max didn't just prove me wrong, it reminded me why I love when Apple and Android just give their best, because as you can see, this phone doesn't just scream for your attention, it quietly earns it.